In Minnesota Viking country, they remember Gene Washington, a graceful wide receiver that arrived when the Vikings were just coming into their Super Bowl years.
Oh, it was really outstanding, mainly because that first year, my rookie year, with bringing in all of the new players that came in that year, I'll always remember this, we only won 3 games that year.
Yep.
And so I didn't get a chance to play that much. Bud didn't play rookies as much.
That's right, that's right.
I think out of the group, I think Allen played more than all those that came in that year. But the second year, everything took off.
But it was the years before that grabbed the attention of his daughter. See, Gene grew up in Texas in the 60s, before Southern universities were integrated. So when a high school rival named Bubba Smith told him about attending Michigan State, he jumped on board.
Bubba had decided to go to Michigan State, and he called me and said, "Hey, Gene, I'm going to put a good word in for you."
It was also because of Smith that his daughter piqued her interest about the Michigan State days. That came into focus at Smith's funeral.
I had a chance to go to Los Angeles and attend the memorial and see my dad with his old teammates from Michigan State, and some I'd grown up with, but for the most part this was kind of new to me to see my dad.
See them all together like this?
Yeah, to see him hanging with his crew, you know, from the past when he was, you know, an 18, 19, 20-year-old. To hear my dad at the memorial speak about how it was Bubba Smith that actually introduced him through his father, Coach Willie Ray Smith, to Michigan State and Duffy Daugherty.
See, Duffy Daugherty was a football coach trying to change culture at Michigan State, so he started going south to find black football players that could not play in their home area. He hit a home run.
And Duffy just did a great job. We had no problems whatsoever in terms of racial problems. It was a team effort, a family effort. The coaches were just outstanding, and we just put our heart into being the #1 team in the country.
It's just hard to imagine that you could have that many exceptional athletes in the same place, on the same team, and have it work.
Duffy Daugherty's 2 captains on the 1966 team are black, Clinton Jones and George Webster. So when the Spartans take the field in the game of the century against Notre Dame, they're taking the field and they're showing that here, Michigan State represents something. They are a symbol of democracy.
See, I don't think that's my dad. You don't think so? I think the face doesn't look like him.
So taken was Gene's daughter by it, she decided to produce a documentary on it.
I was shocked to find out there had been no documentation of this on film.
What she uncovered was what proved to be a special movement in football. Michigan State did not just integrate, they won, and they became a national power.
Well, I think the thing that, you know, really is amazing is that Duffy Daugherty, with the support of John Hanna, the president of Michigan State University, was going down into the segregated South and recruiting black players, knowing that schools like Alabama and Texas, and they weren't gonna even admit my dad to attend college, let alone play football at those schools in the South. So for Duffy Daugherty to recruit black players when no one else was doing it.
And we all got along very, very well, and we were really a family. It wasn't just black players or white players. We never looked at it that way.
What evolved in the process of producing it, a daughter got to understand more about her father, a part of his life he rarely mentioned.
Well, it was overwhelming, humbling. I think the most special part is I've gotten to spend more time with my dad, you know. I'm an artist, and so in a way we speak our own different languages.
She learned that when her dad arrived on campus, there was culture shock. His first time away from home and his new roommates.
It was challenging, mainly because it was so new. It was so new after coming from a completely segregated situation. My 2 roommates were white, and that was the first experience that I've ever had in regard to having any relationship with white students or white teammates.
The adjustment was less on the football field, where the Spartans were in the process of winning 2 national championships with a now national audience.
To see what it meant not only to my dad's generation in terms of an opportunity to be in an integrated environment to get an education, but these games were televised. So America is seeing black players on the field, black players in leadership roles, a black quarterback.
For the first time,
for the
really,
first
because
time.
television was just coming of age too.
Exactly, and seeing this on television and them being such great men.
They were the talk of college football, so good that when Gene's class became eligible for the NFL draft, they were coveted.
And so we were very fortunate. We had four guys from the same team.
Because of my dad's team, I would say what we see on the field today, what we see on the basketball courts. Basketball made a little progress before football did, but what we're seeing in baseball, all of those things, my dad's generation and those who came before him,
somebody had to break it, right?
Made that happen, yeah.
And that's the point of this project, to put history on the record so people will understand.
So I am so proud and love her so much that she's taken on this, and all I can do is follow up, and I follow up to make sure that I'm going in the right direction, and she'll point me in a way to make sure that this documentary is told the right way.
It impacts not only his teammates, their families, but the game of football, the sport, and sort of how this game in America has been so important to progress in civil rights.
While they played football, they made a commitment to their academics, and that became a powerful tool for life. The real win here was that you got your education.
I got my education. That was always number one, and that's something about Duffy and all of the guys that he brought from the South. We all did our studies. We got our degrees. Many of us went back and did graduate work.
I didn't know like I know now.
Through it all, a daughter now understands a little better about the path her father chose in life that changed lives.
I'm so proud, you know. I've always appreciated my dad. I mean, he's a great man. He's a good dad, you know, dutiful dad of the, you know, from the 60s and 70s. So me growing up in the 80s and 90s. To have a dad that, you know, went to work, came home, you know, parents have been married almost 50 years. They, you know, high school sweetheart kind of story.
And a father got to spend some time on the project with his daughter. And that, too, is a victory of its own.
But I'm proud that she took this on because she was with our group and Bubba passed away, and she spent a lot of time with us, and she learned a lot about me and my background. And she learned a lot about me because I never shared a lot with her.
Life to the Max is brought to you by Life Touch, photography for a lifetime.